Hello and welcome back to Calradia at War. We're just about to engage this vassal here. His name is Melidir. However, I think what might be a better idea is to send him a small messenger party, because I'd like to speak to him real quick. And I'm very much hoping I will be able to... maybe he's okay. His initial greeting kind of gave me a bit of a pause there. I thought to myself, ooh, is he giving me a good comment, or is he giving me a bad one? Well, it seems like it's okay, so let's have a look. Okay. He's apparently happy with Caladog at the moment, which is, well, I gotta say, I'm actually kind of, oh, yeah, well, obviously that. Okay, so, wait a minute. Can I not oh, yeah, I can't fight. I can't fight him because obviously we're not in range. Oh, hello. Ooh, that's a little bit close. That's a little bit close for my liking. I think I might like to go into my castle real quick, because I'd like to wait until these guys run away, or they might attempt a siege. We've actually taken a castle, as you can see right here. Inveth Castle has been taken. Technically, I could vote for myself here. I'm not entirely sure whether I should. I personally feel like I probably shouldn't, because this is another castle, and I don't really think that a castle is going to be that useful to us. I think if it was a town, I would be going super hard for this. But yeah, I'm not going to go all out. So I'm just going to vote for this guy. Actually, I'm going to vote for Dirthart to get it, because he only has 17 relation with us, and the other guy already has 76. So it should be absolutely fine for me to do this. And we're going to gain a massive amount of charm skill, and we're going to get relation with a lot of different people. And that is all very well and good. Although, bear in mind that getting relation with the ruler of a clan, or in this case, a faction, not that useful. Not that useful. Maybe getting relation with a clan is useful, but a faction, no, not so much. Because these guys are not really going to be able to give you anything in particular. Now, I'm still thinking that maybe what we want to do is create our own faction within the Vlandians, but I think what we have to do is a little bit more schmoozing first. So in other words, we have to help people, we have to do tasks for them, we have to make sure that their lives are as comfortable as possible, and then we'll see what we can do after that, because generally you need as much relation with these guys as you possibly can get. And oh, he's going up there, is he? Well, that's somewhat unfortunate. You know, I kind of want to fight this guy. Shall I just try? I'm kind of in two minds about this. I think I might be able to do it. Okay, let's go for it, eh? Let's go for it and see what happens. This is going to be in the village, and I am not a big fan of those, as you know. I really do not like fighting in villages or anything like that, but this is a lot more open. Oh, this might be better than any other engagement we've so far had in villages. So let's have a look. Let's see if I can do that. Alright, so we're basically, as you see, just going to put every single person together. And thank you to those of you that gave me an idea as to why my forces are not spear bracing. There is no command to put them in spear brace. I actually thought they would be, because, I mean, to be fair, this is a troop commanding simulator in some aspects, and I think it would be a good idea to have a custom order to be able to do that, you know. So for example, you go through here and then you go through F2's menu, and then instead of, I mean, what do people actually use these other formations, or do they just use line formations and shield wall? Because for me specifically, I use line and loose for ranged, and I use line and shield wall for infantry, and I don't really use anything for cavalry specifically, even though Skane is probably the best for that. But does anyone actually use anything different? I mean, I know the AI, if they are in auto-delegate, they will definitely use the circle one. They will definitely use the circle one, as they are very good at using that. But generally, they're not going to use anything else. So it kind of says to me, hey, does anyone actually use those other things? So yeah, maybe that would be an idea. Maybe that would be an idea. Anyway, we are going to just completely charge in now. I believe the enemy has completely overestimated their ability to win, and as you can see, that is indeed the case. They are being absolutely slaughtered right now. And I think that's actually a victory for us right there. That's pretty amazing. Alright, so I'm just going to try and finish off as many of the enemy units as I can, because obviously that's going to get me a couple of level ups, maybe, in my polearm skill. I should probably get out my one-handed, to be honest, and do a little bit of that too. Do I even have my one-handed? Yeah, there's my one-handed. My one-handed, by the way, is absolutely awful. Just bear that in mind. My one-handed sword is just awful. It is just plain awful. There is no way about it, to be honest. There's no other way for me to say that. It is just really bad. So I'm going to need to craft something along those lines to help me out. I mean, you can see here, look at how many hits it's taking me to just... I'm doing like, what, 10 to 25 damage every single hit? That is just absolutely awful. Anyway, look at the amount of renown and influence we've just gained. Pretty cool, I've got to say. Pretty cool. And we are now going to be probably releasing as many people as we can. Oh, she's actually pretty cool. I like her quite a bit. Maybe we can, maybe we should marry her or something. Maybe that would be kind of cool. She has good traits, which I very much like. Unfortunately, her stats in general are quite low. But as it is a case of we don't have death enabled in this playthrough, it might be an idea for us to choose our wife a little bit more carefully. And as I said before, I was thinking of Liena potentially. I think Liena would be a very, very good addition to our clan. She has a wide variety of different combat stats as well. But what about the other people? We should probably take a look at some of the other people, because no doubt there's going to be someone, like for example, Nywin right here. Oh, I think she's married to someone. She's probably married to someone, but generally she has some pretty decent stats. Unfortunately, she does not have any combat stats as far as I can tell, so that's obviously a bit of an issue. But yes, hopefully we'll be able to find someone like that. We are just going to be letting her go though, because you never know when we can speak to the, you know, the leader of the clan, and then we're going to have a pretty decent shot at charming them. And obviously the main reason why we're being so far unsuccessful in our charms, or shall we say our charm efforts, is the fact that the people that we're talking to have a greater relation with their current liege than they do with me, and that as a result is the reason why they're causing us some issues. Anyway, I'm actually going to be placing all of the prisoners back in here, and I'm just going to be taking all of the ones that we just gained, because I think, as far as I'm aware, they are going to give you the best prisoners. But if they don't, then I don't really mind, to be honest. I just want to take high tier units as much as I can. Ooh, this is actually a pretty nice sword. I will be using that instead of the one that I was using previously. And otherwise, I don't think there's anything for me to take here. So we're just going to take everything else for selling. Alright, looking pretty good. Okay, so we successfully defended the village, which I am very surprised about. And I think I'm actually going to go to Revel. I was going to say let's go to Sionen, but obviously that's pointless because Sionen is not under our control. And I'm going to just take a brief look in the garrison here, because I'm actually wondering whether there are any Vlandians. Yeah, I mean, they have some Levy crossbowmen, but that's basically it. Maybe just for the sheer numbers, I should probably take the Vlandian units that are available here. Might make sense, right? Yeah, might make sense. Oh, they do have a couple of Vlandian infantry here as well. Maybe it would be okay to take them too. There we are. Don't really want to be using any other factions units either. That's the main reason for that. Anyway, let's go over to Revel, see how much we're going to get for selling our prisoners. Hopefully it's going to be a decent amount. I'm hoping about 10k here or something along those lines. And yep, wow, that was actually almost spot on. Look at that, 9,900 right there. Pretty cool. And otherwise, we're just going to go in here. 50,000 to be able to, well, not spend, but to be able to gain here potentially. And there you go. Look at that. We're actually getting 47,000. Very, very nice, if I do say so myself. All right, so what do we actually want to get? Is there anything that I want to get? Well, she's using a one-handed at the moment. How is her one-handed skill going? Well, her one-handed skill has not leveled up at all in that time, which is kind of weird because I actually wanted her to do that. Maybe what I should do is put her into the infantry and then tell them to hold fire or something so that she has to level up her one-handed, because that's really going to make a big difference. Trust me, it's going to make a huge difference to leveling her up and giving us additional flexibility with her focus points and everything. Anyway, we've reached 250 charm. I'm almost at 250 trade. It would be wonderful if we could get to 300 in trade, but that's going to take quite a bit longer, unfortunately. Anyway, let's get ready to try and take this castle. This is a castle that I've been attempting to take for the last, what, 3 episodes or something like that. But the main reason why I haven't been able to is because Mr. Fennigan decided to appear with his relatively strong army every single time, and that was the reason why I ran away. Now we have taken care of his army, we don't really need to worry about it too much, and hopefully we are going to be able to do something here. Now, I think what I will try to do is I will try to make some siege towers if I have the time. If I have the time to do it, I will try to make some siege towers. I don't really want the siege towers, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the game and I'm going to cancel the construction of the siege tower just before it's built. The main reason why I want to do that is because I want to level up engineering just that much faster, and as you can see, when you're building something, it actually increases your engineering at a slightly faster pace than it would otherwise. At least that's what I have come to know from previous experience, but apparently it's not giving me any level ups right now. Maybe I need to... Yeah, I actually don't know. I actually don't know what's going on with that, so I guess I might as well just go on in after I select this trading perk. Negotiation for safe passage barter is 50% cheaper, and caravans and villages offer 15% better trade deals. Well, okay, so my opinion on the secondary of this is fantastic. This is a really, really good trait. However, personally, for me, I would much prefer to have this secondary benefit much earlier in the trading skill tree. The trading skill tree, you're never ever really going to be speaking to caravans and villagers later in the game to purchase things from them, because why would you do that? There's no real need to do that, because you're going to be swimming in cash, or you're going to be swimming in fiefs, or you're going to be swimming in, well, everything basically. And you're not really going to need to do these kinds of trade deals with caravans and villagers. But in the early game, that's completely different. So it would be very, very useful at that point. So I think this just needs to be moved a little bit lower in the trade skill tree. Anyway, let's take a look at what else we have here. Gain 0.1% interest per day on gold you have, and it is capped at a maximum of 1,000 per day. 0.1%. Ah, yes. Okay, gold boosts for town projects are 20% more effective. I will be taking that, because that's just generally, in my opinion, for my purposes right now, just much more useful. Anyway, let's see. No one needs to level up. Okay, no one needs to level up, so let's lead the assault. And this is our first siege, I believe, isn't it? Yeah, I think this is our first siege with the new character. So let's see what I can do. Now, I'm going to primarily be using my billhook, but I will be attempting to level my one-handed sword as much as I possibly can, because the one-handed sword really, I mean, my proficiency really does need to level up. And it is, wait a minute. Did they change the siege ladders, by the way? Oh, I did not check to see whether they had changed the siege ladders and how effective they were, because they are very effective in previous versions, but maybe they've changed them so that they're not as effective. I mean, I wouldn't blame them if they did, because, let's face it, siege ladders are basically the main reason why I have been able in past series to literally take things so simply. So hopefully I'm going to be able to... Oh, hello. Oh no, don't die! Really? Yes. Okay, so someone from behind just bonked me on the head with a mace or a hammer. That was not particularly good. Let's just speed things up a little bit here, see what happens. It seems like we are going to achieve victory, but I really did not want to die there, but it seems like that is just how things had to go. Of course. That is, that's one of the reasons why I decided, hey, you know what, probably a good idea to reduce the damage modifier. Because if I If I had the damage modifier on full damage, I literally would just die instantly in those kinds of situations. And it would be even more frustrating than it is right now. Or should we say, I think I'm a bit more disappointed than I am frustrated. But anyway, there you go. We gain a massive amount of renown and influence and all that wonderful stuff. And now we can also rescue some prisoners. Actually not. Well, yeah, actually rescue some prisoners. And these are all Sturgians, which I don't really care about too much, but I will be taking them just for the numbers, you know, just to take some numbers into my army at the moment. And I don't really want this castle. If I'm honest, I really don't want all this. I don't want this castle. So I'm actually just going to leave the rest of the troops here, and we're going to take all of the loot, and we're going to. Can I decline this? Can I actually decline this? I think I should be able to. Yes, there we go. Yeah, I can decline it. So we're going to do that, and we're going to say decline. And then we're going to continue, and then we'll wait here for some time, because I would like to restore myself a little bit. My medicine skill is leveling up quite nicely, as you can see right there, and hopefully I'm going to be able to get more of it as time goes on. Okay, so, yes, medicine skill, there we are. We finally got to 75, so let's have a look. Medicine recovery chance applies to enemies too, so we can take more prisoners if we want to, and also increase your max health by 5. Otherwise, decrease wounded party speed penalty by 50%. And increase the health of every mount in your party by 15. Okay, so basically it comes down to whether we want the medicine recovery chance for additional prisoners or decreasing the wounded party speed penalty by 50%. Personally, I think wounded party speed penalty by 50% being reduced is probably really good. But the secondary function of this is basically pointless. I don't really see a point in having 15 additional HP for a force of units that basically does not ride horses. I rarely have any cavalry in my army as it is. So I'm going to take Doctor's Oath here. That's also going to give me more money, because we're going to be able to take more prisoners again and again. So it's obviously going to help us out in many different aspects, not just one of them. And there we go. All right, so I'm actually going to vote. I'm going to always take part in the voting if I can, because I, of course, would like to prevent myself from gaining these things. And I would also like to do the... Oh, they're giving it to me. Oh, well, never mind. But yes, I would also like to do a little bit of schmoozing, of course. I'd like to make sure that every single vassal in Vlandia loves us, you know? We really want them to love us as much as possible. So that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm trying to get Ingaltha's favor right there. And they did end up giving this to me, which I did not want this. I really did not. Oh, well, never mind. I guess it's all right. I mean, when we when we form the rebel faction within Vlandia itself, then we're going to have, you know, a pretty decent power base of things, and, well, I suppose that would be pretty good, I suppose. Anyway, let's go into the garrison here. I'm going to be placing a bunch of Sturgian units in here, because generally I do not want Sturgian units or any other kind of unit apart from the ones that we already have, of course. Apart from Vlandians, of course, and otherwise Battanians, Sturgian. There we go. And there we have it. Okay, so they are going to have a pretty nice boost in there, and we're also going to be doing this. Oh, the loyalty of this particular castle is fantastic. Look at that. That's pretty cool. Okay, I'm liking that. And our construction is working quite nicely. Okay, so I'm going to need to... I want more settlement morale if at all possible. So let's just do this first. There we go. And then we're going to go for the food. So we want more food, because the gardens are absolutely fantastic. As you can see, they're giving us +9 bonus to food production already. And we probably want to do something else here. So we're probably going to go for more construction speed, and then we'll just do the rest. And I don't really care what else we go for, to be honest, as long as we're going for something. And there we have it. Okay, that's looking pretty good. And let's increase our loyalty, and that should be fine. All right, so Daldorn Castle should be okay now. Cross fingers. Cross fingers. Hopefully there's not going to be any massive armies turning up and saying hi. But we'll see. We'll see whether that is indeed the case. I think generally now in the game, there's not going to be too many large armies running around anyway. I think they'll probably have a maximum, you know, party size or army size of around 300, maybe 400 if we're unlucky. But as it stands, I think we should be okay with how it is going so far. So not too bad, not too bad. So far, we haven't really seen anything too devastating against us. And there is actually someone attempting, or there was someone attempting to raid Flintolg. And I obviously do not want that to happen, so I will be attempting to defend as best I can. But otherwise, what else can we do? Can we take Glintor Castle? Can we actually take Glintor Castle? It would be fantastic if we could. Oh, seems like a small army of ours has been defeated by Mr. Caladog. Well, that is to be expected, I suppose, isn't it? Generally, he's going to run around with a relatively strong force. Ah, hello. This guy. Let's fight him. Hello there, sir. Do you have a good relation with me? No, you don't. Okay, yeah, well, that's basically pointless then, isn't it? But we are going to let him go, and then we'll be able to speak to him in the future. And maybe, just maybe, we'll be able to persuade him to join us. But, of course, we currently do not know. I think that's also another functionality, you know, another mechanic that could be added to the game. Spies. Spies would be very cool. So, in other words, you could, you know, employ a spy from your castle or something like that, or from your town in the keep, and you could basically ask them, hey, can you find out everything there is to know about this one vassal, who his relations are with every single person in his faction, for example. So if you wanted to find out just how good friends he is with his ruler, then you could do that. And you could do that through the spy, and you'd have to pay, I don't know, 5,000 gold or 10,000 gold or something like that for the spy to find out that information, and then he'd return in about a week or something. That would be kind of cool. And that would give you an opportunity to find out, oh yes, this vassal is way too much work to go after. I'm just going to ignore him, and I'm going to take him prisoner from now on. And you can basically just change your decision-making process as a result of that new information that you found. At least, that's my thinking on it. Maybe you disagree, but generally I think spies could be very cool. And I mean, they could do a variety of different things, and generally I think they could also be tied to a particular building within the fief. And I'm talking about that for various other reasons as well. For example, access to noble units, access to elite troops, being able to train your units faster, or, you know, things like that. You know, things that Pendor has been implementing for many years now. Things like that would actually be extremely satisfying and enjoyable to utilize, because, let's face it, having the ability to spy on your opponent, having the ability to poison their water if you wanted to, or in general to make sure that enemy armies in and around this fief that would be going in there would have their movement speed reduced, for example. You know, like, I don't know, maybe the spy causes stomach upset in a number of their troops and they have to run slower, or whatever the case may be. I don't know. There's just a whole bunch of different ideas that are floating around in my head right there about that, and I think it could be very cool if that could be implemented. And the same thing with having like a spy academy, or a spy, I don't know, a spy stronghold or something like that you could build, and then you would gain access to spies from that. So you wouldn't just have it immediately, obviously. You'd have to do a little bit of investment and a little bit of time, and yeah, that's what could happen. That would be pretty cool, in my opinion. But, well, we'll see. We'll see what happens with the development, because obviously they're still focusing on fixing crashes and, you know, improving performance and all that wonderful stuff. Okay, so I have not seen where the enemies are. Oh, that's 127 damage. That was very nice. Can I get some more, though? Seems like the enemy is wanting to take a very, shall we say, defensive position, and they are very much not wanting to move forward, which I gotta say, I'm not very surprised about that. And I very much like how a lot of people in the comments have been like, oh yeah, the pikemen, they're terrible. they're terrible. And I literally have like, how many of these guys do I have? I have like, what, 52 of these guys in my army right now? And I'm thinking to myself, oh dear. You know, that's... And apparently they are widely considered to be one of the worst tier 5 infantry in the game. I did not know this, because obviously I've never used them before. But now I know it, I'm kind of thinking to myself, are they really the worst? Because they seem pretty good. I don't know. Is it just me? I don't know. Because right now I'm thinking, look at how they were able to devastate this enemy force. And I mean, I'm not entirely sure what the enemy actually had available to them in terms of their composition. I mean, you can quite clearly tell they didn't have anything too high level or anything like that. Not in significant enough numbers to really make a big difference. But you can see how many kills the pikeman was able to get. And I suppose, okay. If we put it in perspective, we have 36 pikemen, and they were only able to get 39 kills, whereas we have 8 sergeants, and they were able to get 20. So I suppose the ratio is there, and that definitely says everything you need to know about the pikemen, which is somewhat unfortunate, I have to say. I was really very much hoping that they would be kind of decent. I don't need them to be the best or anything like that. But yeah, I will generally continue leveling up pikemen, because someone actually did mention that they are the only ones, as far as you're aware at least, that can spear brace from Vlandia, because the other people are using one-handed polearms as well as a shield. As the pikemen do not have a shield, it is obviously impossible for them to use their polearm as a one-handed. So that's definitely something to take into account too. Anyway, I'm going to go over to Rovolt right here, because I do have a bunch of prisoners. And, oh, hello. What are you doing, sir? You are out and about, and we will murder you. Oh, it's actually... Never mind. Let's have a look here. Wait a minute. We need to... Oh, it's... Yes. It is indeed Caladog's clan. That's what I thought. Alright. You know what this means? Yes. You know what this means? This means that we can go full out, and we can even take him prisoner after this, which is going to be fantastic. That's going to be super, super nice, because it's been a long time since we've been able to take anyone prisoner. I don't really care whether Caladog likes me or not, so I'm thinking we'll probably just take most of his clan prisoner, and we'll see what happens with that. I generally don't believe he's going to be very agreeable as a whole, so even if we do have to form some sort of agreement with him in the future, like a peace agreement or something like that, I think his vassals will probably force the decision forward anyway, and it's not really going to be his decision in the end anyway, because that's how it works. Especially if peerage is involved. Peerage is one of those things that really throws a massive spanner in the works for any number of rulers, because it gives vassals clans double the influence, well, should we say double the impact whenever they are making a kingdom decision, and that really makes a huge difference. Actually, should I actually rephrase that? It gives them, well, it gives the ruler less chance to oppose any kind of decision, because it makes the cost of overruling clan choices so much more expensive. It doubles the influence cost. So that's the main thing that we have to consider there for Caladog, you know, if peerage is instituted, that is. Anyway, I'm actually just going to tell everyone to charge, because it seems like my my cavalry are just completely chunking them right now. I don't even really need to worry about anything else. It seems like we can probably just run on in there, no problem at all. I think I might want to switch to my one-handed. I think I will do that a little bit. I'm going to get off my mount as well. We're going to tell my archers to auto-delegate a little bit here too, because we do want them to get into range. And we are behind enemy lines, so this might very well end up quite bad, because I'm getting shot in the face now as well. Now, could you imagine that? You see what just happened? I was literally fighting against two Well, basically 2 recruit level units, and I was unable to beat them in a 1 versus, well, 2 versus 1 situation. Yes, okay, admittedly 2 versus 1 is obviously not particularly good, but you see how slow my one-handed is at the moment. What is this sword? Is this sword actually a one-handed slash two-handed weapon? Because if it's a one-handed slash two-handed weapon, then that basically says everything I need to know, because it actually slows you down by 33% as far as I'm aware. If you're using a one-handed slash two-handed weapon in your one hand, obviously the weight of it is going to slow your swing down so considerably that it is going to feel very, well, very uneven and a little bit clunky, you know, a little bit clunky. So that's definitely something to bear in mind as well. So I am going to take a look at that in just a second. No, look at that. It is literally just a one-handed. Maybe it's just because my proficiency is so bad that it feels very slow to swing. And I couldn't even, I had to take a hit, you know, I had to take a hit from one of those guys to even be able to do damage at the end there. If I hadn't taken out the guy on the right, then I wouldn't have been able to survive that engagement at all. And that says everything. It's just, wow. That says that I really do need to level up my one-handed much, much more. Okay, so my village is once again being under siege, which is to be expected. Oh, well, not under siege, but it's being raided at the moment, which is pretty awful, but yeah, I kind of wish I had the ability to get more focus points. Is that just me? Because I'm kind of finding right now that I don't have enough focus points. Oh, I do have a focus point. Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, I'm going to level up I kind of want to level up engineering again, because whenever we do a siege, this progression of building the siege camp is so slow that it makes me so incredibly sad, because I have to wait for it for so long that I have the opportunity to be attacked at any moment, and it really is very disappointing. So I'm actually going to go for another point in engineering here, even though I can still level up engineering. It's just I can't level up any of these other things either. As you can quite clearly see, they're all in red. So I am unable to level any of these: steward, scouting, tactics, roguery, or smithing. Obviously smithing is perfectly fine the way it is, although it would be pretty cool if I could get to the endurance one, where I could actually increase my endurance by 1. That would be pretty useful for athletics and riding skill. Huh, now that I think about that, maybe it would be an idea to actually put a point in smithing. Should I do that? I mean, it literally makes it 0.87. Yeah, that is kind of useless, isn't it? That is absolutely useless. Okay, what about steward skill then? That's going to increase the party size. Yeah, why not? Let's do that. I have nothing in intelligence either. It's kind of annoying that you don't gain attribute points per level, or even per 2 levels. It's every 3 levels that you gain an attribute point. It's kind of hard. Anyway, there you go. That is what we're going to do next. Is we're going to attempt to take Druimore Castle or Glintor Castle, because my main objective is to try and expand Vlandir's territory ever so slightly every single time, or to reduce their overall combat strength. You can see their war exhaustion at the top there is not actually doing that well, and you can see here they're at 4,000. They're at 4,000 combat strength, so we are very much in the lead at the moment. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.